Hey Bear, this is a private video just for you, just to show you how to do timer real quick. I'm using the G07 Crimson 3.2 so I can use the emulator. And watch this. I'll send you the program at the end here, but you can watch how I build this. So I'm going to go over to programs, and I'm just going to write a program that will do a timer. But I'm going to run this only when the run timer is turned on. So I do not have any tags in this database. This is completely brand new. So over here in programs, I'm just going to type, I'm going to ask the question if open parentheses run timer double equals 1. I'm going to ask that question, does it equal 1? Then I'll enter, tab across, open parentheses, enter, a couple line feeds. I'll say start to add time. I like to add some comments. And then I'll say timer equals timer plus 1, semicolon, end statement, and then end of my brackets. So that's it. Notice that the program is not compiled. It's got a yellow diamond over here, and I don't have any tags. So I'm going to hit this button here to translate or compile. Boom. It's going to bark at me for the run timer. I want this to be a Boolean on off, so I'll make a flag tag is what I want. Boom. And I want the timer to be an integer. I'm going to add up in seconds. So I'll say yes. Now that's good there. And then this program one, I'm going to just rename this real quick. I'll call it timer underscore logic. That's all I did. Okay, now if I go over to display pages, here's my default page. I'll get rid of this. I'll change the background color for this to white. Okay, and I'll go over here to the right, and I'll grab these two things, and I'll drag them out here like this so we can see them, and I'll make these two a little bigger like this, and then I'll click away to lose focus. Click once on here, boom, 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 and this button here turns on the data entry. I'll go ahead and do this rudimentally, and then I'll show you clean it up. And then I'll do the same way with this one. Turn on the data entry. Boom, boom, boom. Make the font bigger and bold. Okay? But I need to call that program once a second. So I can either call that only when this page is displayed, or I can go over here and click on pages above page here. And on the global tab, you have these options. I want to run this program on tick once a second. So I'm going to go here to the right side, go to programs here, and I'm going to grab this timer logic and simply drag and drop it right there like that. That's it. Go back to this page. This is what it is. I'm going to use the emulator. So I'm going to turn on this button here so the emulator's on. I'm going to go ahead and download this. Let's see what happens, team. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Say yes. Okay, here it is. I'm in the emulator mode. If I turn this on, bam, that logic's running, and you can see it's counting once a second. If I turn this off, it'll stop. If I turn it back on again, it'll continue where it was. If I want to reset this, I mean, I can manually do it here. I can click here and put this back to 0. That'll reset it. But I can also make some logic. So that's the first part of this. Let me go back to here. Now, this button here, you see me have to click on it on and off, whatever to make it run. I'm going to go over here to primitives, and I'll go to indicators. I like indicators because I got this one in here. It's about the 5th or 6th row from the top, the labeled LED. I'm going to drag this guy out here, and I'm going to make this guy be a little bigger. Oops, maybe I won't. Like that. So I'm going to tie this to this tag so that it turns on and off easily for me. But watch this. If I double click on it first, notice, team, that you only have indicator to show. You don't have a do something. But before I get to that, I want to put the run timer tag right here. So I go to the right side, data tags. I'm going to grab this dude and put it right there. So if this guy was off, it's going to show this. If it's on, it shows this. I have another thing I don't like here. Let me make this. No. I like this to be green on. So if I go over to symbols on the right, got all these symbols. If you go down to the Gadget Lights 2 directory, eventually in here, you'll find that there. I've done this 100 times. That's why I memorized. So stupid. But drag that out here like that, any color you want. But notice there's no action tab. So I'm going to click the OK button, and then I'm going to right click on this guy, and I will, third thing from the bottom is add action. I'll click that. Boom. Now I got an action tab, and basically under action, I want to use the push button type, and I want to toggle that. and I want to toggle the run timer bit right here. So I go to the right side, grab the old run timer and put it right there, boom, and then click that. Let's try this. Let me save this real quick. I'll save as, give me a second, team. I'll put this in my default directory. We'll call this A-Bears timer. I have another one. Did you see that there? Anyway, today's date, 25/09/19. Bam. There you go. All right, let's download this emulator. Here we go. Boom. Look, click it. Because that program one runs on tick, that's what you see, on tick. You see that? Now, if I go back to here, and if I was to do this, not here, run it on update, because our display page generally updates 10 times a second on real HMI, we should see that number change 10 times a second. Let's see. It might run faster in emulator. Let's see. No, it's about the same. Anyway, so you can see it runs there. I'll go back to where I had it, because normally everybody does everything in seconds. So, oops. Well, I'm dragging this here, right there. Now, you don't want to do this. This would be stupid. Let's see what it does. I've seen people do this, so let's see what it does. Yeah, you can't tell. It's kind of weird because that's a bad practice right there, because it's calling it twice, and let's not do that. Okay. All right, so that's that. Now, if you wanted to add, let's say out here on the screen, let's say you want to put a button here to clear this. You know what? I'm going to reuse this button. I'll do copy, paste. And now if I double click on this guy, I'm going to put here clear. Whoops. Highlight this. I'll type clear. Maybe I won't. Hit the pull down, general, and then type clear timer. Now watch this, team. This is so cool. Or clear time. I can type that. I don't have a tag over here called that. But watch. Well, darn it. Let me try it again here. So if I hit enter, boom, it's going to bark at me. I want to make this a flag tag. There we go. Click yes. And then over here on action for this guy, I'm going to toggle that tag. So I'll drag this guy right here. You could also, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to toggle that like that. But you know what? Let's make this normally on momentarily. I don't know if this will work in the emulator, but I'll try it. Okay? And now if I go over here to data tags on the left, anytime this tag goes on, I want to turn this off. Okay? So I'm going to go to triggers here. I'm going to say whenever it's on, I said that wrong. Whenever that guy goes on, I want to clear the timer. So I'm going to hit this edit button here. Now let's do it the long way. I hit the pull down here, go to complex, and I'm going to grab the timer tag, put it in here. Oops, so you can see it. You know what? Make this smaller so you can see it. I literally just drag that out there like that, and I'll put 1 =, 0, semicolon, and up here I'll say clear the time. Oh yeah. And then hit enter. Okay? Let's try it. I think I did it right. Let's try it. Curious to see what happens here. Okay, there you see it's counting up. Great. Anytime I press this button, oh yeah, look at that. You see that, team? Momentary. Boom. Turn it off. It stays. Start it up again. It rocks and roll. Turn it off. Click this one. Hold it down. Boom. Man, that's pretty sweet. Anyway, that's the demo. The key I think you're missing and you're thinking is you got to call the program either on tick in the global settings or on a specific page. You also have, if I click on the page over here, right click on the border, go to properties. You also have under action here, you can run the same logic here. So let's do that. Let me go put this right there. This now will only run when that page is up. So I'm going to remove it from the global and I'll leave it right here on the page. Now it'll work the same way. Let me save it, download it. So if I turn it on, it's cranking away. If I went to another page, it wouldn't run. But then when I come back to this page, it would. I think. Let's try it. Now you got me intrigued. Let me go ahead and insert a new page, page 2. And we'll just put this here. I'm going to put a button on this page real quick, team. I just want to try this. So I'll put a button here that will say this button goes back to page 1. Go to page 1. And I'll change the text here. And of course, that contrast stinks. That also is not the best. We'll do something like that maybe. Who cares? All right. I'll put that on that page. So when I press this button, it'll take me back to that other page. And then if I go to page 1, let's put a button on this page real quick, team. We'll use this color. And we'll say this one goes to page 2. Of course, on the action tab, I got to say, you know what? You need to go to page 2 right there. Click OK. All right, let's try it. According to my logic, the timer only runs when page 1 is up because I'm only executing that code on the properties of that page. Excuse me. If I know it's page 2, you see here, there's no properties there, so this ought to work. Let's try it. Ready? Let's download the Shazam. Okay, so here I am, team. Check it out. Let it run. Let it run for a couple seconds. You can see the timer working great. Maybe around 5, 6, I'll click this button here. Boom. I went to this page. Nothing there. Now, when I left, it was at 7. When I go back, it's at 7. Isn't that perfect? Look, 10, boom. I left. Come back. It's at 10. It only works on this page. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, cool. Check it out, buddy. This is a private video just for you. See you later. Have a great weekend. Bye.